It's the Date Master, and yes, we're back with another video. We're going to get into more solution-based content. I think we all have a firm understanding on what the Matrix has done, why you're in the situation you're in, and what is necessary to get out of it. The complaining pretty much comes to an end at some point, because if you focus too much on the problem, you will not be able to focus on the solution. You cannot do both simultaneously. I've come to learn this. You cannot focus on the problem and a solution at the same time. You get the problem, you get a firm understanding of the problem, ins and outs, all of the particulars, how you play a role in that problem. Once you understand that, you do an update. Again, you have to do, I guess you would call, additional research just to see how it shifts, because it always is shifting. You notice the gender war started off a little bit more softer. It was very subtle. It started, I would say, back in the 70s, 80s, when you had talk shows given to women, and particularly white women, that use black guests as a pawn in the whole propaganda scheme against the black male, and to pretty much evolve into all men that have traditional values, that have a certain level of influence, which does not play into the agenda of the corporation that runs this company. This country. Because we're one big shopping mall, so therefore our economy is based on spending. You notice how they say if there's no debt, there's no income. Meaning they want you to take out a loan to generate revenue to pay it back with interest on the proceeds of your business. Because if you take out a loan for $50,000, you may have a savvy mind to say, well, I'm going to turn that into $100,000 or $200,000 or $500,000, $1 million, whatever the case may be. You just need a small foundation. I mean, you liken it to sports. You look at football to golf. The foundation necessary needed to hold that golf ball is very small, but the process behind utilizing that setup is big, because there was a system in place to make we only need this tee for this golf ball. It's because it's so small and it works. Now you go to football, you have someone holding, and then when you do the kickoff, you have it sitting on a contraption, which is bigger. So I say that to say the economy makes you spend via the woman's emotional state. Valentine's Day is going to come up. Okay, we probably got a birthday somewhere in the mix. Let's just put a birthday in the mix. You got Mother's Day coming up, right? You got Christmas coming up. You got anniversaries coming up. So you have all these things happening within a few weeks to a few months, depending on what her birthday is, and what she has attached to her. Said for children, mothers, you got to celebrate their mother's birthday as well if she's in their life. Hopefully she's still in her life. So you got to take that into account. So you're going to have a different stir of emotions. But what we come to realize is that once you understand these emotions all the way through, you notice that they pretty much don't have any value behind them, because they fluctuate so much. So what you do and what you have been doing is breaking the rules by playing into them. Getting intimate, you get to pillow talking, you get to forming this bond, because a lot of men want a bond for whatever reason. I used to be one of those guys. You want to have that chemistry with a woman. So it's a give and take. You can get this blissful feeling, of course, yes. But it comes with a unorthodox relationship for the most part. You'll have the genuine connections that have a lot of longevity to them. But again, that's debatable when you look at the type of relationships that you see in around you and in mainstream media. Look at their tenure. You would ask, how would somebody endure such a long period of time being unhappy? And then on the back end, you would say, well, how are they unhappy seeing they stayed so long? 7 years, 10 years, hell, even 15, 20 years. So you've been playing into this whole gamut of emotions that is influenced by the corporation, which keeps you digging in your bag, the bag with the money, the bag with the time, the bag with the attention that has taken away from building something that will hold its value, which is that being yourself as an individual, physique, mentality, education, intelligence, or business, finance. All that really should go hand in hand. That should go hand in hand. So you have to build the plane as you're flying it for yourself, but you're trying to build one for you and a woman who you're her sixth guy. And that may be just within a few years, because they're always going to skim off the top the number of men they don't want to show up on the credit report, because those were just situationships, purely sexual, no value. They just had a lust for him. And you can become that guy once you understand what that looks like to a woman. You have to invest. I tell you, I get the best reaction and response from women when I'm selfish. When I give everything to myself, when I put myself more than first, you're going to get better cooperation, because they know that's how you should be. That is what they're really attracted to. They'll get the beta male provider for the security, financial security. A lot of the times you cannot get, in a lot of things in life, what you need is a water line and electricity. You cannot get both out of one another. You cannot get the water the same place you get the electricity and the power from, and you can't get the power where you get the water from. So they need two different sets of guys. They need one to stimulate their emotional value, and then they need one to give them the physical arousal. That is not going to require any type of pandering, any type of conformity. You just have to simply exist, and you may have done some work, or you may have just hit the genetic lottery, or both. Because two things can be true at the same time. So these guys that are in this position, they know this. This is how they play it to their advantage. There's a no negotiation. This won't be nothing more than this. We only link up. We don't talk on the phone. We really don't. We may text, have a joke here and there. We don't go out on dates. This is purely link up. So this is a sneaky link that a lot of people just won't know about, unless they're in the inner circle, because you know when she gets that wizard dick, she cannot keep it to herself. She must let the world know somehow, or it's her friends, which is her world. But the secret formula is basically investing in yourself 110%, and only engaging women on a dual benefit level, not just for your physical lust, but for some business or value gain to your life. She became valuable to you. She wanted to latch on to you, not you latch on to her. See, a lot of women want you to latch on to them because they want to lead the relationship, which they will only lead it to its demise. It will lead it to the cemetery, because they're too emotional to have a long-term vision. They only look for short-term gratification. Anybody looking for short-term gratification will lose. Getting it quick, getting it fast, anything, you will lose it in the same fashion in which you got it. Look at what happens to people when they get on steroids. It's a quick fix. It's quick response time, but it destroys you long term. So do not let social media fool you, or let women fool you into setting your standards for you as to what you should accept. You set the standard for her as to what you will accept. And that's just not to her, that's to anyone. See, a lot of this information that you're getting from me and others, you would have gotten this from your dad had he known. But again, most of our fathers, due to this, the general populace having a rare percentage of men who independently think and who are what you would consider alpha, sigma, the top tier select men that goes out and get it on their own and not have anything given to them. It's the mindset first. Then you can throw in the physical, because the mindset is going to show on the physical. If you have this knowledge about fitness and look, why are you not working out? Why don't you look like what you talk about? Why don't you deal with chicks that you talk about in a good way? So I'm not saying you should prove this, but you should have this to prove that your statements and your commentary is credible. See, a lot of people look to do things for camera, cam up and do this and show this and that. You really don't have to do that. They'll see you if they need to see you. And if they don't, they don't. But we have a pissing contest. So a lot of men have no problem cutting out the middleman or the player type guy who doesn't want to invest financially. They'll just, hey, I got the money. Hey, just fly out. I got your ticket. I think we tend to shame things in which we cannot identify with. If you had $1 million cash, no children, your businesses are flourishing, but you got $1 million in the tuck, what would you do? How would you move with women? Would you be looking to let them in just because they say they're good women? Just because they're present, because they rather forfeit their job, and monopolize their time with you so no other women can get it. Hey, I want to go. I want to be here. They'll find their way. They'll find their place. A lot of you are trying to forcefully guide and tell the women where they need to be. If you have to tell them where to be in pocket, they still won't know where to be in pocket. You don't think they know they're dating men that's going to leave them as baby mothers? Emotionally distraught women, you don't think they know that these guys are going to do that to them? They know it. They seek it. So what makes you think you can rehabilitate her? She has to rehabilitate herself. But the secret formula is very simple, gentlemen. You focus on yourself until you get the desired results. You deal with women in the same way you would deal with paying taxes. When you have to. When you have to. But you guys let me know what you think about this video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It's the Date Master.